Hello everyone, my name is Tara G. Welcome to my channel. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a like up. Chicago Fire. Every character who has died on the show. Chicago Fire has taken fans an emotional roller coaster from the first episode, with numerous characters not making it to the series end. Chicago Fire has seen many exits over its 11 seasons, and unfortunately, many of the brave firefighters of Firehouse 51 are now remembered for their emotional Chicago Fire deaths. Although it's amazing to see that Chicago Fire is still on fire over a decade after it first premiered, that long-running success has undoubtedly come at a great cost. While many characters have come and gone, some will not be able to have the opportunity to return, as they were permanently killed off the show. Some of them were even killed off at the height of their popularity, proving that no character on the show is safe. For years, the firefighters and paramedics of Firehouse 51 have struggled to navigate through their grief while still serving the people of Chicago, with some never being able to recover from their loss. While certain characters might appear to be safe, and some have had the best character exits on TV that don't involve death, there's always a possibility that a fan-favorite character can drop at any minute. Following Season 11's ending, the number of Chicago Fire deaths has risen even further, and the emotional weight of the deaths doesn't get lighter almost every season, seeing a character or two killed off. Andy Darden, Season 1, Episode 1. Andy Darden is the first Chicago Fire death and the very first character to be killed off. Although Darden didn't say much, he still had a profound impact on the show, as his death caused a significant rift between Matt Casey and Kelly Severide that continued through the first season. His passing also sets up the push and pull relationship between Casey and Severide that becomes a true brotherhood as they overcome their grief together. Darden's death would eventually create more challenges for Casey when he has to choose between helping Darden's two sons or staying in Chicago. Holly Thomas, Season 1, Episode 22. Though Holly Thomas and Matt Casey are engaged, they break up in the very first episode. Though they reconcile later in the season, Holly was murdered after discovering the clinic she worked in was corrupt. This was just another stepping stone in Matt Casey's tragic love life. However, while tragic, the storyline was at least the catalyst for many future plots. Not only did it give the writers the opportunity to explore more of an emotional side to Casey, but her death sparked an investigation that introduced the intelligence unit to the series and allowed the writers to set up Chicago PD. Vince Keeler, Season 2, Episode 15. Vince Keeler gets involved with the Severide family when he kidnaps Kelly's sister. Severide's father also becomes involved even though the two have a strained relationship, and the father and son come together to save their daughter/sister. Despite being estranged, Severide and his father are able to put their past aside for the good of the family. This would be the first step on their long road to reconciliation. Ultimately, Keeler's death was one of the Chicago Fire death that wasn't a tearjerker. Keeler is one of the show's most hated villains, and it was far from the typical emotional death that quickly became a trademark of Chicago Fire. Rebecca Jones 9, Season 2, Episode 18. When Rebecca Jones arrives at Firehouse 51, she faces pushback from her father and the Firehouse members. After Rebecca discovers that her father was trying to sabotage her and was attempting to put her on a desk job, Jones takes her own life. Gabriella Dawson was hit especially hard by the loss, as she began to consider whether becoming a firefighter would be the best idea in Chicago Fire. Jones's death also showed viewers the struggles and pressures first responders experience and how it can affect their mental health in the long run. Leslie Shea, Season 3, Episode 1. Leslie Shea is Gabby Dawson's partner on Ambulance 61 and Kelly Severide's best friend. While responding to a fire, Shea and the rest of Firehouse 51 were trapped where the roof collapses. It wasn't only until the Season 3 premiere that it was revealed that Leslie had joined the list of Chicago Fire deaths, as she died after a beam struck her in the head. The character's death sent Kelly into a downward spiral. but it also opens the door for Severide to start working as an arson investigator. Leslie's death was the hardest to stomach, given that she was one of Chicago Fire's most likable characters. Wallace Bowden Sr., Season 3, Episode 15. When Chief Bowden and his father reconnected, Bowden was devastated to find out that his father had been diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. Considering that Bowden was seen to be a pillar of support for Firehouse 51 and always knew what to say or do when everyone was at a low point, it was heartbreaking to see how lost he was. All Bowden wanted was for his father to see his grandson grow up and for them to enjoy each other's company. Bowden didn't get much time with his father either, as he sadly passed away a couple of days into his visit. Danny Borelli, Season 4, Episode 22. Danny Borelli appears in Chicago Fire as Jimmy's older brother, a candidate on Truck 81. During a call, Danny is crushed under the debris of the building as it collapses, which causes Jimmy to become a little reckless as he tries to get him out while debris falls around him. Bowden has to physically pull him away from the scene, and the event leads to Jimmy and the chief having a strained relationship. There wasn't enough time to connect with Danny, so it's one of the Chicago Fire deaths that wasn't particularly hard to watch, but Jimmy's struggle certainly was. Anna Turner, Season 5, Episode 20. Anna and Severide are another tragic TV couple separated by death as the nurse sadly passed away after she had been diagnosed with leukemia. Although the storyline was inevitably going to have an unhappy ending, it was still heartbreaking to see the Chicago Fire death. Anna was a likable character, and her funny personality and kind attitude meant everyone warmed up to her. Unlike Severide's previous love interests, she didn't have any issues with other characters, which was a refreshing change. While Anna was only in a few episodes, it was tough to see her go given that she and Severide made a great couple. Benny Severide, Season 7, Episode 6. In Season 7, Severide deals with another loss in his life as he discovers that his father, Benny, has died of a stroke. This leads to Kelly having to deal with his unresolved feelings toward Benny after having shut down his feelings, which strains his relationship with everyone around him. However, through their shared loss, Severide and the chief at least become closer, but it isn't until Season 9 that Severide deals with the impact of his loss. Brian Ottis, Zonsick, Season 8, Episode 1. One of the most impactful deaths in the series, Ottis is the only member of Firehouse 51 not to survive a mattress factory fire. The whole dynamic of the firehouse changes after one of the most emotional Chicago Fire deaths. The sudden departure of a beloved character was so shocking and unexpected, as it was so quick, and Ottis had everything going for him up until that point. The character had also been getting more storylines and screen time, which were some of the series' most engaging. However, Ottis's death just proved yet again that, 8 seasons in, nobody was safe. Julie, Season 8, Episode 18. In Season 8, paramedic Sylvie Brett reconnects with her birth mother, Julie. Julie tells Brett that she's pregnant and wants her to be involved in her sibling's life. Unfortunately, it isn't long until things take a turn for the worse when Julie dies after giving birth, leaving Sylvie to care for her sister. Sylvie's connection with her sister allows the paramedic to hold on to the pieces of Julie that she never had before. Julie's death also leaves Sylvie to question what matters to her in life and makes her take a chance on her love for Matt Casey, which was the story arc's only silver lining. Father Anthony, Season 10, Episode 6. Although not a major character, Father Anthony's death in Season 10 was horrific, as Severide had seen the man get beaten and set on fire by an arsonist. Since he couldn't identify the individual due to the extensive injuries putting him in an induced coma, this leads to Severide reprising his position as an arson investigator. Father Anthony's murder was easily one of the most violent Chicago Fire deaths, and hard to watch not because of the emotional connection, but simply because of how sinister it was, and it had a major impact on the course of Season 10. Randall Mouch Mulholland, Season 11, Episode 22. Chicago Fire ended Season 11 on the biggest, most heartbreaking cliffhanger yet. Randall Mouch McColland, who has been a regular character in the series ever since Season 1, flatlined after being hit by shrapnel during Episode 22's sniper attack. The character immediately started bleeding out, hinting that Mouch might be the next Chicago Fire death. However, while flatlining all but confirmed that Mouch died, the episode ended before any kind of official confirmation. There's a chance that Mouch might not have died, but the Season 11 finale doesn't inspire much hope. Either way, the answer won't be revealed until Chicago Fire Season 12. Thanks for watching this video. Please subscribe to our channel and stay with us.